What's up, you guys? It's your girl Angela and welcome back to my channel and to another girls night in video. I love these videos. They are so therapeutic for me, and what better way to start the new year than sitting down and having some girl chat with my besties. Instead of focusing on one or two topics today, I thought it might be fun to open the floor to all of your questions. So I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me anything, and as per usual, you guys never let me down. You asked the best questions and I love you for that. So today we're going to be talking about everything from 2022 goals to relationships, friendships, surgery updates, product recommendations, and everything in between. But before we get into today's video, I have to give a quick little shout out to today's sponsor, which is Lilo. Now, you've definitely heard me talk about Lilo in the past, and it's for a very good reason. 2021 was definitely a year of self-growth, self-love, and self-exploration thanks to Lilo. I was introduced to the brand early on in the year and I never looked back. Now, if you've never heard of Lilo before, Lilo is to sex toys what Maserati is to cars, what Hermes is to handbags. Lilo is just top of the line all around. One of my goals for 2022 is for my self-love journey to reach new heights, which is why my Lilo products will definitely be coming with me into the new year. Now, if your goals are similar to mine, but you're just easing into the process of getting to know your body, I highly recommend the Lilo Sela for a very slow but steady start. If that's something you're interested in, I will link Lilo's website down below. And thanks again, Lilo, for sponsoring this video. Okay, so let's get into these questions. I'm going to try to organize them the best I can so I'm not bouncing around, but let's start off with some plastic surgery questions, shall we? So the first question is, I want to get a boob job in 2022. Can you let me know where you went, please, and what doctor? So I went to the plastic surgery group in Montclair, New Jersey, and my doctor was Dr. Ablaza. I had an amazing experience with her. I got my boobs done 10 years ago and they still look amazing, and I have no plans to swap them out anytime soon. So that speaks volumes. I highly recommend her. Do you regret your BBL, and can you give girls advice who are looking to do it? That is a loaded question. I don't regret getting a BBL. I regret who I went to. So if you guys don't know, I haven't really talked about it too much on my channel, but I wound up getting a really bad infection from my BBL that I'm still dealing with to this day. And the reason why I haven't talked about it yet is because it's still an ongoing process and I still have the infection in my body. As a matter of fact, I'm going to another doctor next week because I need to get the infection drained yet again. It's such a long story and I'm going to talk about it in a later video, but because this is something that I'm still dealing with every day, I want to wait until I'm healed to talk about exactly what happened. But I would definitely say where I went wrong is I made a rash decision to get a BBL. I had just gone through a breakup and I wanted to change. I had always thought about getting a BBL, but just kind of the breakup sped everything up, and I wound up going to the same doctor my friend went to because I saw her results and I love them. And instead of really doing my research, I just booked a surgery with them. So my advice to anyone thinking about getting a BBL or any type of elective surgery is to do your research, not only on the procedure itself, but the doctor, because I just didn't do that. This was the one time I didn't, and I wound up regretting it. But we will talk about that in another video. Yeah, it's been a very long process. How do you maintain your BBL results? I have one too, and I feel like I'm gaining in my lipo areas. Diet is extremely important when it comes to getting liposuction and a BBL. If you go back to eating the way you were before your BBL, you're going to lose those results. So getting a BBL isn't an end-all be-all. You really need to keep up and exercise and follow a good diet, which is what I try to do. Of course, everyone has their days, but you don't want to go through all that pain of getting a BBL, because the BBL for me was the worst surgery I ever got. It was the most painful. It required the most aftercare, and it was just definitely not easy at all. So I would hate to go through all of that and then lose my results, because then it's all for nothing. And then I got asked, where is it? Okay. What do you eat that keeps your tummy not bloated? First of all, I do have lipo on my stomach, so a lot of those fat cells that were there before aren't there now. Now, with that being said, I still get bloated. So to avoid that, I try not to eat salty foods. I love salt so much. I really, really do. I love me some salt and spicy foods. I find that spicy foods bloat me as well. So as long as I'm not eating those two things, I'm okay. I know a lot of people are sensitive to dairy and dairy makes them bloat. Luckily for me, I can eat my cheese in peace. But just paying attention to what you're putting in your body. And sometimes I find it healthy to keep a food diary. And that's something I recommended a lot of my clients when I was studying nutrition, is to write down everything you're eating and then keep track of how you're feeling as well. If you eat something different and you start to feel bad, then you know not to eat that food anymore, but it's kind of hard to track unless you're writing it down. So that might be one of your goals for 2022, is just to keep a little food diary. I just want you to know interviewing you is on my 2022 manifest list. I love you. Well, I would love to be interviewed by you, so I accept. DM me and we could set something up. Best feminine wash / care for down there. I have the hardest time staying fresh all day. Now, I did a video on this in the past, but I don't mind revisiting it because I feel like it's such an important topic. I find that a lot of women, when it comes to smelling a little bit off down there, their immediate reaction is to apply something scented or use a wash that's scented or spray something scented down there to cover it up. And that's actually the opposite of what you want to do. I like using sensitive, pH balancing, unscented feminine washes. I know it's a lot going on, but there's a ton on the market. Test some out, do your own research, find what works with your body. We're all very different, but it's also important to treat that issue from the inside out as well. So I highly recommend taking a daily probiotic. I'll link my favorite down below, and I feel like that, even more so than the feminine wash, has helped keep everything balanced and neutral. And that's what you want. You want it to be neutral. But of course, I think it's also important to talk to your doctor. I am not a doctor, but this is advice that every single one of my gynecologists has given me when I've come to them with these issues. What is your favorite cosmetics brand? It is really hard for me to pick just one because I have different favorites for different things. Like I have a favorite foundation, which is YSL's Skin Tint. I have a favorite bronzer, which is MAC's Give Me Sun. I have a favorite concealer. So it's hard for me to pick just one, but if I had to pick a brand that I love pretty much everything from, I would say Makeup by Mario's brand. Everything is just a hit. Like I love his contour sticks, his eyeshadows, his lipsticks, his lip liners, just everything that I've tried I've been obsessed with. So definitely Makeup by Mario. Your fashion sense is fire. Who is your biggest inspo? I find inspo from everyone. If I see a photo I like, it's automatically inspo. But if I had to pick one person that just stays on top of her game, it's definitely Amrezy. She's been my inspo for years, and yeah, I just love her. Okay, now we're gonna get into some questions that might give me diarrhea. Opinions on the most recent season of The Challenge. Now, I don't know what angle you want me to answer this from, so I'm gonna answer it from all angles. As a fan of the show, I've found the most recent seasons, especially this one, to be extremely cringy and the themes to be very whack. This was actually the first season that I did not watch a single episode, didn't see a single clip, and it wasn't like I was trying to avoid it. I just had no interest in even pressing play for the clips on Twitter and on Instagram. I feel like the challenge isn't what it used to be anymore, and I'd much rather watch All Stars. As someone who dated somebody who is on the cast and have heard what has been going on, I don't care. Which brings me to my next question. Do you still talk to Nelson? No, me and Nelson do not speak. We are not friends. We are absolutely nothing to each other. I cannot even get annoyed when you guys ask me questions about that relationship because I have kind of fed into it in a way by going on vacation with him, posting a video about it, and on top of it, you guys don't know that I have been in other relationships since me and Nelson broke up. So we're gonna talk about it now. Since me and Nelson broke up almost 2 years ago, I have since been in another relationship, fallen in love, and gone through another breakup. And I did all of this privately. Nobody knew what was going on. I mean, a lot of you speculated who it was with. You kind of matched stories together, which is completely fine, but I never talked about the relationship, and I don't plan to talk about that relationship ever. And that is because I have an immense amount of respect for this person. Even though he is no longer in my life anymore, he was somebody that was very, very special to me at the time. So it's always weird getting asked about the same ex over and over and over and over again. But then I'm like, that's all you guys know because I didn't introduce you to my last ex. And moving forward, I will not be talking about relationships on this channel at all. And I know for a lot of you that might be disappointing, but because of what has happened with Nelson and that relationship, I just don't want to put myself through that again. My next relationship will be kept private, and that's just how I'm going to moving forward. Not saying that you guys will never see another boyfriend on my channel ever. It's just really hard for me to log into Instagram and Twitter and YouTube every day and there's questions about Nelson. So to avoid that happening with anyone else, I'm going to not be talking about them on my channel anymore. But just because I'm not going to be talking about my own relationships and who I'm dating on this channel, that doesn't mean we aren't going to be talking about relationship advice and stuff like that. I still want that to be something that we talk about because I have a lot of advice to give. I've been through it all. So my next question is advice on leaving an emotionally and physically abusive relationship. First of all, if you are being physically abused, I highly encourage you to seek professional help. There are a ton of organizations built specifically for that type of issue, and I'm so sorry you have to go through this, but that is the first thing that you should do. I know it's hard to leave any type of toxic abusive relationship, but when it's physically abusive, it's time to seek help, and that's number one. You guys know about the toxicity of one of my relationships and how much that took a toll on my mental health and well-being, and recently I had to tell myself yet again that I disrespect myself when I allow someone else to disrespect me. And I sat down one day and I looked at myself in the mirror and I literally had a conversation with myself. I said, Angela, I'm not going to do this to you anymore. Like, that's it. I'm not going to put you through this anymore. And from that day forward, I did not put up with anything. And it feels so amazing because now I am single, which was another question. I am very much so single and dating and getting to know different people and just enjoying my alone time and my waiting period. So doing some self-reflection is crucial during this time. Also keep in mind that pain is temporary and it's better to cut it off now and deal with that heartbreak for now than have to deal with it for the rest of your life if you stay, because that pain will go away. I promise you, I've been through this so many times. It's just so much easier if you cut it off, deal with the pain temporarily, whether it be a few months, a few weeks, whatever it is, and then you slowly get over it rather than be unhappy forever. What are your goals for 2022? Definitely getting into more of a routine, being more consistent. I feel so much happier with myself when I have a routine and I'm more consistent. So the word of the year for me is consistency. So you'll see much more consistency from me here on YouTube when it comes to posting content, Instagram, TikTok, and also in my daily routine, which I will be sharing with you every step of the way. I do want to film more weekly vlogs. So don't be sad you're not going to be seeing the relationship side of me anymore. I'm going to be giving you so much more in return, and you're going to like the side of me so much better because it's going to be a happier version of me. I'm not going to be sad all the time that I'm getting played or cheated on or depressed. You're going to just see me in a whole different light this year. Well, that is all I have for you guys for today. I always feel like a huge weight is lifted off my shoulders at the end of these videos. It really feels amazing. But thank you again, Lilo, for sponsoring this video, and I will see you in the next one. Love you guys.